Well, South Africa's newly elected members of parliament will be sworn in today.
The president of the country and the National Assembly Speaker and the deputy will also be elected.
Members will be sworn in by Chief Justice Mogoeng.
They'll either swear an oath before God or make a solemn affirmation. Our reporter, colleague Samgela Maseko, is joining us now live from Parliament as he's also getting ready to preview for us this day. Well, a lot of drama happening, so to speak, within the ANC caucus yesterday. Withdrawals of Baleka Mbete and Malusi Gigaba. Samgela Maseko, one wonders what the day holds ahead of us today.
Indeed, Braden, Baleka Mbete effectively bowing out of politics in South Africa when it comes to issues of governance and legislative making, and being the Madam Speaker here in the National Assembly. You'd be accustomed, Braden, to the era of Baleka Mbete, predominantly within the fifth administration, which was characterized by many opposition parties of defending former President Jacob Zuma. Here in this National Assembly, remember those joint sittings of the House where she would co-chair the SONA debates or the State of the Nation address by former President Jacob Zuma. You'd remember when the EFF chanted pay back the money. You'd remember issues surrounding the secret ballot on whether to vote out the President of the Republic of South Africa. Then her coming back from abroad and making that announcement at Ora Tambo. She is a former national chairperson of the African National Congress, effectively bowing out. You'd remember even on Saturday evening, this past Sunday evening, the ANC had a marathon, meaning that would be the ANC top six deliberating on which names should be proposed to the ANC Special National Executive Committee on Monday, which took place here in Cape Town, on who should be the next Speaker of the National Assembly. Names such as Thandi Modise were in that meeting. Baleka Mbete, Thokoti Diza, Thandi Modise coming out victorious, especially after the ANC's NEC meeting, which endorsed her name instead of Baleka Mbete. When they walked out of that meeting, Baleka Mbete said to us journalists, "I am now handing her or delivering her over to you," which signaled that Thandi Modise will be taking over from Baleka Mbete, who now remains as an ordinary National Executive Committee member of the African National Congress.
You know, Samgele, one wonders whether this is the end of the road in terms of playing any public role. All kinds of speculation currently, I'm sure, will be where to next for a stalwart of the ANC like a Baleka Mbete.
Indeed, those discussions will be reverberating within the structures of the African National Congress, or where Baleka Mbete goes. Some have tipped that she may be going abroad to become an ambassador. Some have been saying that she may be going back and trying to focus on certain business interests which she may have. But the interesting factor here may not be Baleka Mbete, as you've still got a relatively young Malusi Gigaba, who is probably in his late 40s, early 50s, and many people may wonder what he will be up to. Remember that he served in various executive positions in the past 9 years or so, whether starting from the era of former President Thabo Mbeki, going on into the administration of former President Jacob Zuma when it started in 2009. He's a former Deputy Minister of Public Enterprises, later a Minister of Public Enterprises, went on to Home Affairs, went at a small stint at Finance before he was also reshuffled when President Cyril Ramaphosa took the reins from former President Jacob Zuma. He has also said that there is an alleged plot against him to drive him out of the ANC. You remember that interview we had with him in Durban after various scandals broke up against him. He's also been implicated in serious allegations of state capture and corruption, of being basically part of the state capture project. His relationship with the Guptas has been questioned. The neutralization of the Guptas during his tenure at Home Affairs as well has also been there, and issues raised in the State Capture Commission of Inquiry and other commissions that are taking place currently in the country. He still sits in the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress, and he has pointed out a desire to further lead the ANC at its top brass level in the top six, saying that those who want to drive him out will meet him in future, as the younger generation within the ANC want to fight for him. There were also calls during the nomination process for the ANC's parliamentarians for people not to nominate individuals such as Malusi Gigaba, who are perceived as tainted. For instance, there was a certain branch which the Minister of Health belongs to in Limpopo, which he was trying to persuade his own branch not to nominate Malusi Gigaba to go to Parliament on the ANC's national-to-national list. The Minister of Health was defeated, Aaron Motsoaledi, in that particular BGM in Limpopo, and Malusi Gigaba did receive nominations, and he was part of the ANC's 25%, which is the first 25% in the national-to-national list, which the ANC's National Executive Committee or the Deployment Committee of the ANC couldn't touch or amend.
And Samkele, just to bring it back home now to the day itself, I mean, we understand the frictions and the issues within the ANC itself, but what have we seen in terms of inter-party relations? I mean, just looking at reports from yesterday, looking at President Cyril Ramaphosa congratulating Julius Malema, they seem to be sharing a friendly moment there. Are we feeling a little more hopeful ahead of the swearing in, ahead of inaugurations, ahead of cabinet announcements, that maybe, just maybe, the parties look that they will work together for the better of all South Africans?
Indeed, it looks as if there is some sort of a smooth relationship now between the Economic Freedom Fighters leadership and caucus leader Julius Malema and the incumbent president of the ANC and presidential candidate for the African National Congress, which has 230 seats. They are basically having this cordial and warm relationship to one another. For instance, you've had those issues of bromance, which many people have spoken about, between the Economic Freedom Fighters leader Julius Malema and Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of the country and president of the ANC. He even bumped into Julius Malema here in the National Assembly or Parliament yesterday when they went to register as members of Parliament, congratulating the Economic Freedom Fighters, saying that, quote, "Jealous down, you have done well." Jealous down, keyword, jealous down, end of quote. So he was basically saying and congratulating the Economic Freedom Fighters for their growth. If you remember, when they first came to the National Assembly or Parliament in 2014, they had 25 members of Parliament. They've had an additional 19 members since the 8th of May elections, where the EFF grew to just over 1.8 million votes nationally, thus giving them 19 extra members of Parliament. Julius Malema saying that the Red Sea of these 44 MPs that he will now be leading will be trying to foster change to South Africans. But the interesting issue here is the Democratic Alliance. Mmusi Maimane has been under pressure of late, with the Democratic Alliance relatively being stagnant at the polls through many people what they've perceived as the Freedom Front Plus taking away Democratic Alliance votes, and some votes of the DA also going to the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa. So they will also be fielding their own candidates on who will become the chief whip of the House and who will become the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. So the Democratic Alliance will be putting forward names. It's not yet clear whether the Economic Freedom Fighters will be putting anyone forward. They had their own caucus yesterday evening. They were the last ones to have a party caucus. I saw that their caucus went up until about 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the evening last night.
Thank you very much, Samkele Masego, for that preview of what's set to take place in Parliament today.